Have you ever wondered what was out there in the night sky? Stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you ever heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there's life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu, or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? What if tomorrow you were on the fringe? And welcome to another episode of What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. I'm Philip.
I'm Mark.
And tonight we've got I guess we should say just a part-time co-host. Jess is with us. Pam is supposed to be here sometime tonight. We don't know what's going on.
I just talked to her. She's run a little bit late. She'll be in a few minutes.
Okay. Sounds great.
Okay.
Man, we got a fun show for you guys tonight. Hope you like really creepy things. I found it's about a 13-minute long video. We're going to try to play it because it really, to me, it set the tone for the whole episode. So I do want to share it, and it's going to be fun, I think. I enjoyed it. It's a really good short film. It's called Don't Let Them In. So here we can get this. And I'll give credit where credit's due. It's by Screamfest on YouTube. Really creepy film. So here we go. We'll just step back and relax for a minute. Can you guys hear that?
No.
No? Well, crud. Oh, hold on. I'll get this figured out eventually.
Technology, the bane of our existence.
It is. We're just figuring this out. So there we go. How about click that button? All right, I'm going to try it again. Let me know if you can hear it, please.
Yes.
Can you guys hear it?
Uh-huh.
Good.
I like that quote.
Oh, damn. Sorry.
Ma'am, could you please give us a ride?
I think we might have lost the sound, guys.
Yep.
Well, I guess this is going to be no sound. But everybody should go to this YouTube channel and like and subscribe. Let them get credit. It's not cooperating very good, is it? Hmm. Well, this seems really similar to some of the stories that I've read about black-eyed children.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. They're evil,
Always be beware of the hoodies.
right? I own one. I don't ever wear it.
Yeah, but you're not a kid. It's okay.
That's true. They're coming, lady. Coming for you. I think you're having bandwidth problems.
Don't do it, lady. No,
Nope.
they never listen.
Ah. No, she's been converted.
Oh.
They're devouring your soul. Looks like a pretty good movie.
It is.
Poor Rachel.
She's done.
Yep.
Chris says anxiety equals high.
We'll bring Pam in here in a second.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh no, it was right. You're wrong.
Oh, it's all his fault.
It is.
Horrible husbands.
Yep. Did you use a Ouija board? What happened? I feel kind of like,
Ah!
eeh. Kind of feel like that show with the two robots that watch the movies.
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater with Mark, Phil, and Jess. And soon Pam.
That would be awesome. You make little silhouettes of us to put in front of the screen.
There you go. Everybody should go to these people's page and watch the show and like it and follow them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll leave the link in the show notes and all that good stuff. But they deserve it because it's a really good short film.
They did a really good job with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna bring Pam in. Hey, Pam.
Bam!
Yay!
Tell me if my sound is okay because I'm just using I'm just using what's on my iPad.
It's not bad.
Okay.
No, not bad. You're a little quiet, but I think you'll be all right.
Okay. I can talk louder.
Did you get to watch the short film? I didn't know if you could see it through there.
Yes, I could see it. I couldn't hear it,
Yeah.
but I could see it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it
That's
was a
okay,
really
we
good
couldn't
short
hear
film.
it either.
Yeah, we
Oh.
couldn't hear it.
I was about ready to like voice it over, but I didn't want the guys to yell at me. I was gonna be
Oh,
like,
you guys couldn't
"Why
hear
are
it?
you working all day?" Because I can't stand being around you, woman. Well, if you'd take me out once in a while, but I decided not to.
Yeah, you guys couldn't hear it?
I didn't want to get yelled at.
No, we
Uh-uh.
couldn't hear it on our end.
Ah,
It
dang it.
started playing and then it just went quiet.
Really? Well, dang.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was subtitled.
It was.
True.
You got the gist of it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good film. Anyway, folks, tonight we are talking Black-Eyed Children with Pam and Jess. And, oh, dang it, nobody could hear it. Well, sorry, guys. Go check them out. I'll leave the link in the show notes.
Dewey's going to join us for a little bit too, apparently. So
Aw.
All right. yeah, it's a first things first. You know, I wanted to show the film, and unfortunately, you guys couldn't hear it. I guess that was my fault. I haven't quite got this whole tech thing figured out yet. But yeah, first things first. Do us a favor, check us out over on Facebook, What If Tomorrow podcast group. We've got a lot of things going there. You can watch the show over there. I've also got it on What If Tomorrow Media, our actual Facebook page. And then we got it on YouTube, the What If Tomorrow Media page on YouTube. Check us out on the website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and support us through our affiliates. We have Duke Cannon, we have EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply. My brain's not firing that, guys. Sorry. And then we got our shirts and our merch and stuff like that. What's that, Mark?
I said the black-eyed kids got you.
No.
Yeah.
Like I told you the other night, I'd Spartan kick one off the porch real quick. So, like I said, you know, I mean, from now, I mean, I think we ought to just call Pam and Jess our part-time co-hosts, so because they're on here quite a bit. So, it's always fun having them on. We have a good time and a good conversation. But yeah, I mean, this is such a crazy, weird. I mean, this thing could go so many different ways with the black-eyed kids. You know, there's people that think there might be alien, there might be ghost or demon or something like that.
I like the vampire ones.
The vampire. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, you know, because would it be more like a psychic vampire type thing, you know?
I think it'd be like the space vampires, that movie they did about that book. What was that called? I can't remember. It was terrible. It was in the 80s or 90s. The book was good, but the movie's not so much. That was the name of the book. I can't remember the name of the movie.
What was the name of the book?
Space Vampires.
Oh, that was the name of the
That was the name of the book.
I missed that one somehow.
They called the movie something else, and it was terrible. The vampires would suck all the energy out of you. They were energy vampires.
Yep.
They found them on the space shuttle and brought one back to Earth.
So it's like Colin on What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh.
Yeah, it was creepier than that.
Oh, okay.
Like I said,
I don't
the
know,
movie
Colin's
was
pretty creepy.
good. But
For sure.
I kind of like the theory that there are grays in kids' bodysuits.
It could
there
be.
you go. Why not?
That's why
Yeah, I
their
can
eyes
see
are
that.
black. Because it's like the one thing that the grays can't reproduce. So you
Right.
get to see their true eyes.
I see.
That is
Although,
kinda
where did
crazy.
they get the bodysuits from?
Yeah, and why can't they buy contacts?
That'd be some big contacts.
All they got to do,
Well, they can-
all they got to do is make up a fake address and order them on Amazon. I bet they could create a false account. I mean, if they're that high tech,
Yeah.
you know,
They can't even get the clothing right, dude. Half of them
Right,
can't figure
yes.
out that you need to wear shoes. So how are they going to know to get contacts?
Right.
they just got to hack Amazon. Amazon will tell them everything they need to know. Surely they
You
can
know,
get
could it be-
Wikipedia.
You know, you hear these stories of them, you know, wearing clothes that are out of date, you know, older fashioned clothes. Do you think it could be, if they are alien or whatever, if they're moving across the galaxy or the universe or whatever, coming to us, they're catching our radio signals from like the 60s.
Maybe.
You know, they're saying, well, this is what people are watching, you know. So
Or
they
maybe
might dress
their
like
intel. Maybe their intel from our planet is just really old and out of
Could be.
date. They need to get somebody in here and work on that.
you know, maybe
Starlink's
they're-
up there now. They can just steal a satellite and tap into it.
right. You know, maybe they're dressed like Leave It to Beaver or something like that, you know.
That's pretty scary right there.
But,
I'm impressed with the amount of hoodies.
yeah.
Nearly
Well, it's
everyone has a hoodie on. So
Well,
they can
so do
like
the kids these days.
shield their eyes.
Right. But it seems like it's always the same color, like a gray or something, you know, dark hoodies and things like that.
That's what all
In the
mine are.
film, you know, they kind of alluded to the first recent story, I say, when, you know, within, what was it, 96, when, I can't remember the guy's name, when he came out with it.
Brian Bethel.
It was Brian Bethel, and it was at the tail end of '97.
Okay. But the kids were knocking on the lady's car door, but that's what happened to him.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the way the story goes, he was in front of a movie theater, and these kids were asking to let him in because they wanted to ride home to go get money for something like the Mortal Kombat movie or something when that came out. And he realized, that the last movie of the evening was already an hour, and they were already an hour into the movie. So that was kind of a red flag for him. But it seems like the most common denominator in the story is it's an automatic red flag going off when they approach. It's like they're a sense of foreboding or something like that. Just people's fight or flight instinct wants to kick in. Kick
Yep.
in.
Mhm.
And
The
every story you
interesting
hear.
thing, though, sorry to interrupt. The interesting
No,
thing,
you're good.
though, is while they're feeling that extreme fear that they can't figure out, they're also feeling a pull as if they're not in control of themselves completely. Brian Bethel mentioned that the whole time he was thinking, screw you kids, I'm going to get the hell out of here. He realized his hand was reaching for his door handle,
Right.
and he was not intending on doing that, and like stopped himself before he did it. And you hear that in a lot of the stories, as if
You
there's
do.
like some kind of a pull to do what they're asking against your own will.
Right. Like it's almost like a hypnosis type thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the monotone because when they speak, it's always monotone. Maybe it's that. I don't know. I've never experienced it, and I hope I never experience it. But
I haven't
Also-
either. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
it is. And like you said, I don't know how you would classify them.
There could be so many things. Even the big black eyes, it could be fairies. Who knows? It could be, but who's to say aliens aren't fairies, aren't aliens, kind of one and the same, just called different things by different people.
They're demons.
I
You
think
do.
I think they're strangely attached to Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of it kind of lends that way. A lot of the same, like they don't know how to dress. Half of them don't have shoes on. They don't know how to talk correctly.
Yeah.
I remember one story I read. I thought it was hysterical. They knocked at the door instead of asking to use their telephone. They asked to use their telegraph.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I read that one.
And the guy was like, telegraph? And he couldn't fathom how to tell them that there wasn't even such thing as a telegraph anymore. And he was just like, well, I don't have a service for that or something.
Right.
But, and then after you see them, they almost always vanish into thin air. And a lot of the stories I saw had, if they did see them leave, they often climbed into a black vehicle with men in suits.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
are they the kids of the Men in Black?
That one in Maine, they had 2 men in black get out and all on the way in a black sedan.
Mm-hmm. Or is it? I wonder if it's kind of their recruitment process. Maybe. I mean, like a gang initiation type thing. They got to go knock on doors or something.
Maybe they think the kids are less threatening as an approach.
I don't know. They're pretty threatening to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So, like, the few stories where they do get entrance into a house or a car, what do you all think about that? All the illness? And
It
Lord knows how
seems-
many they got into and maybe disappeared. And then you're getting into all
Right.
411 stuff.
Yeah, well,
Right.
a lot of those illnesses sound like they might be radiation related.
That's just what I was
So-
thinking.
That, I mean, if you open a portal into another universe,
My wife put us a Jehovah's Witness.
They just want to pass out some watchtower.
there you go. There you go. Hey, now they're nice folks,
Hi, Chris.
but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
but
it seems
it is
like
creepy.
radiation poisoning. I mean,
Well,
That one
the
guy got a
one
rare
sto-
form of skin cancer that
Yeah.
usually comes from using a tanning bed, and he's never been in one.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Well,
I
that's the
was
story. I'm
oh,
sorry,
go
Jess.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just
The
gonna
story
say I had
Go ahead.
okay, you go. I'm gonna
I was gonna say, I was gonna say I can't even talk now. I was gonna say that the story I think Mark is talking about was that older couple,
yeah, in
and
Maine.
it carries this. It carries all the signs, but they let them in. I think the lady. It was like 2 a.m. They lived out in the country, which I know my wife's probably freaking out by now, but they live out in the country, and they let them in like 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're wanting to call their parents, and the lady of the house goes back to make hot chocolate or whatever. She comes back in. The man has a nosebleed started. Then they get up. They ask to go to the bathroom, so they go to the bathroom, and then all the lights go out. But they keep telling these people, "My parents will be here soon." Or our parents should be here soon. And that's where the Men in Black come in, because the man's he's like bleeding and headache and all that, and then the headlights show up at the house, and the Men in Black are in front of the they load them up. But yeah, from what Mark was saying, the man came down with skin cancer. The lady started having the headaches and nosebleeds and all that. So it does. It sounds to me like it's a radiation issue.
yeah, it reminds me of I don't know if you've all read the Skinwalker books.
Yeah, no.
But they talk a lot about the people who live in the towns nearby, just being on the roads in and around that area and having UFO sightings and coming out with cancer and radiation poisoning and horrible skin rashes and things. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. And that's kind of why I like lean towards maybe it's the Greys. Men in Black, Greys, and all of that. It seems like it's all one and the same. Like, are they being abducted and they're missing time, but they don't know?
I mean, maybe.
Could be.
Because you don't hear about the cancer or the illness from people who have had contact with the BEKs unless they've allowed them into the car or their home.
So
So
the barrier of the door is enough to protect you
Yeah.
from the radiation or whatever.
and why? Why in only this one case with anything paranormal minus vampire tales, because that's just silly. Why is this the case just with black-eyed kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird.
I've never heard of that with any other thing paranormal related whatsoever. Aliens, ghosts, cryptids.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of like hauntings and stuff making people sick or something like that, but never like the symptoms of radiation poisoning or anything.
I'm going to
Yeah,
look that
I
up.
just-
What are the symptoms of radiation poisoning?
Before we talked about doing this podcast, I had been under the impression that, what was his name? Brian Bethel, that he was like the very first report of black-eyed children. I didn't realize they went so far back, and that the Iroquois had tales of them, and they've been seen in like what, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I was shocked because I was always
even
into
further
this,
back.
and they were pretty new.
Yeah, even further back than that, they have folk tales and stuff from Scandinavia about black-eyed kids that go back before Christianity was even born.
That's
Right.
It was a what are they called? It starts with an M. Mylings. I think it's Mylings.
Yeah.
It's an old Scandinavian tale, and it was based around children that were tossed and unwanted, dying, and then coming back in spirit form and trying to get adults to take them in and to come into their houses. And it was the same thing where they would ask permission, and you didn't dare let them into your home because if you did, they would kill you or kill your children.
Hmm.
Yep.
And
did hear-
there's a Latin one too, the Duendes, and it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I did hear one of the stories where I want to say they killed this man's wife or something while he was downstairs. They ran upstairs.
Now, that one, I did read that one, but the way it read, I really have a feeling it was a true creepypasta story, that it was
It's
a
a
made-up one.
Yeah.
It was very told as if it was being told by like a storyteller rather than a
Gotcha.
first-hand experience. You know what I mean? That's
Yep.
the only bad thing about BEK. So like everybody thinks that Brian Bethel story started this entire thing, and it created a surge, kind of like Slender Man. Everybody had to write a story about it. So now you've got what I consider true first-hand accounts and right alongside of people's made-up stories. So you kind of got to take them with a grain of salt, and kind of look
Right.
at it from perspective. Is this how somebody who doesn't know how to write and just really wanted to get this off their chest, is this what it sounds like? Or does it sound like somebody who really wanted to tell a creepy story and freak people out?
Right.
That one sounded like it was a storyteller to me. I don't know what if it is, but
Yeah.
that's what it sounded like. Kind of got to play that a little bit carefully. In fact, I listened to a interview with Brian Bethel yesterday, and he was discussing some of those creepy pasta stories that popped up after his started getting repeated on that and some other places. And he was talking about some of the more ridiculous ones that he'd heard, where these kids had broken in and massacred people or ate the dog, or
Dog
Yeah.
is delicious.
yeah. The only story I've ever found that involved problems with pets was there was one where a lady had let them in, and I think it's the one where the gentleman got sick and like three
Yeah,
of
all
her
the
cats
cats
went
died.
missing. Well, like 3 cats went completely missing and never saw him again. And then the 4th cat, they found bloody on the floor like the 5th night or something like that after
Mhm.
they'd seen the kids, because it had vomited itself to death.
Acute radiation sickness.
Yep.
That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
But they
I've
never
got to get
yeah. I don't think they ever found the other 3 cats. So maybe they had Alf with them
well,
and
I
he was
mean,
needing a snack.
animals a lot of times will go hide to go die.
True.
Yeah.
So, but loss of appetite, fatigue, fever, nausea, diarrhea, and possibly even seizures and coma, plus skin damage, which may leave rashes and stuff for weeks. So, I mean, it hits some of those
Yeah.
enough to make it.
Where did the 3
suspicious.
cats go though? Because they were indoor cats.
I don't know. Maybe they did get eaten.
I think they did. I think it was snack time.
Maybe that's what they were doing in the bathroom.
It was that
The
hot
lights went
cocoa. They needed a snack
Snack
to go with the
of
hot
the
cocoa.
I always wanted to name the cats like Szechuan, General Sue, and teriyaki. Nobody thinks my sense of humor is very funny. I don't understand.
But it seems like, I think I heard when they're the sightings or the stories, it seems like it like kicks in about every 10 years. Or so. From my understanding, from looking at everything and reading on them, it seems like they start reporting again like every 10 years. And but they're all over. It's not like the Green Men in Kentucky, or they're not centralized to one location. They're
No,
all
they're
over.
everywhere.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, there's a reoccurring one in the UK. It's supposed to be a little girl, and she does that. She pops up like every 10 years and just wreaks havoc on these neighborhoods for a couple of weeks, and then she's gone again. I think it's in Cornwall, maybe, or it's something like that. But yeah, she pops up. She even has a name. I don't know what the name is, but they've named her.
Yeah, I know what story you're talking about, but they see her on the trails and all that too.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it was around Cornwall. Again, I'm not sure either. I don't remember what they called her, but yeah, she is named. And that's what's crazy is the age groups are what, like between 9 or 10 and like 16 or something like that. They're about the age group where it's hard to tell how old kids are.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, did you all read about all the stories of the black-eyed adults too?
I've seen a few.
I saw a few, yeah.
I found a ton. I had no idea. I'd heard of a few, but I always assumed maybe that they were like ghost or demonic stories that had kind of gotten mixed in with the black-eyed kids because they usually have dark or missing eyes too. But I found a ton of them once I really started digging. You kind of got to dig. You can't go black-eyed kids. You got to go
Right.
black-eyed and man or woman or whatever. But there were tons of them, and a lot of them were accompanied by black-eyed kids.
Hmm.
Let me see if I held the story. I printed a couple of them. There was a really interesting one where it was like a family of black-eyed people.
You.
Yeah. And like it ended up killing this kid a year later.
Do you think they're blaming Brian Bethel for starting this whole thing just as a way to cover up the phenomenon?
I have no idea.
I mean,
It's plausible.
when you do the easy internet searches, they always come up, oh, this was creepypasta, or this is what started creepypasta. But then when you find all the older ones, like, wait a minute, they didn't have that in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So is the whole Men in Black connection and the fact everybody seems to want to poo-poo on this story that they're just trying to cover it up because it is real and they know all about it? Because that's what the government does.
Could be.
Maybe. I found that story.
Okay.
Here,
Okay.
I'll read it. It's from Week and Weird. It's an accumulation of BK stories and such. And this was just outside of Bristol, UK. And I'll just read it verbatim so you can get the gist of it. We were leaving to go to work one day around 10:30 a.m. and went out on a towpath at the bottom of the gorge. So they lived by a water path there. Right there were 4 people walking along. The first, a short, middle-aged man with a pointed gray beard and completely black eyes. The second, a very tall, middle-aged woman with completely black eyes. The third was a teenage boy, roughly about 17 or 18, with completely black eyes and a troll-like underbite, with what seemed to have been fangs protruding upwards. And the fourth was a very beautiful black girl, around 20 to 21 years old, whose eyes were normal. The strangeness was that the path was flooded out, and puddles on that towpath are up to a foot deep, and they were not stepping in the puddles without even looking at the ground, which I promise is impossible in flood season when you're paying attention, when you're even paying attention to what you're doing. Their skin didn't seem to fit them, and they moved in a very strange way, almost like their limbs were bending in places where there were no joints. The 2 older ones looked at us as we were going and said, the 2 older ones looked at us and we said good morning. And with this really unsettling smile, they looked back. The black-eyed adults then said nothing back, which is really odd, as it was a very friendly strange city where strangers often talk to each other. They stared at us and it felt awful, like they were looking into my brain or something. The troll-like teenager looked dead ahead with a really angry expression on his face, and the girl looked happy but completely vacant, like she was hypnotized, just staring into space, walking out in front of him. Their clothes were modern, waterproof coats and walking boots. Apart from the girl, who wasn't wearing walking boots, like she intended to come to the woods, she was wearing flat pumps, which nobody in their right mind would wear on that path in flood season. When they had passed us, we looked at each other and immediately said at the same time, "That was so weird." We both felt the strangeness emanating off of them, like a total sense of foreboding. What adds further mystery to this encounter is that exactly 1 year later, my ex tragically died at age 22 in one of the quays on that same river towpath. It was reported that he had hallucinated a girl called Sally, throwing herself in after speaking to her. He could have been saved, but he refused to let anyone rescue him until they had rescued Sally. There are a lot of residential boats on that quay, so a lot of people heard him shouting for her and tried to help him. The police looked in the quay for a second body for hours after he had died, but concluded she had been a figment of his imagination brought on by his misadventure. I know this might sound far-fetched, but I've been trying to find out more about these BAKs ever since and wanted to share this experience in case it was helpful to anyone and in case you have any information that might be helpful to my search for answers.
Interesting.
This whole
So,
thing.
two adults. What were you
That
saying,
is-
Mark?
The whole BK thing just gives me chills every time we tell one of
Yeah.
these stories. Then most of them have the ring of truth.
Yep.
Some of them don't, but
Yeah.
most of the ones that I've found that seem reliable really do feel like, yeah, something is going on.
It sounds to me like they got a hold of somebody. The black girl that this said had normal eyes but looked like she was vacant. Like they possessed her or something and probably killed her right there after they had left the area. And then that year later, when the ex-boyfriend was back there again, maybe he like witnessed her ghost or something
Maybe so.
and was duped into thinking that, you know, he was capable of saving her or something. I don't know. I just thought it was really freaky.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of black-eyed stories that aren't, you know, knocking on a house or knocking on your car door or wanting to get in your business.
Right.
It's like
one
somebody
thing
got to see the aftermath.
Yeah.
And what's with them not being able to come in unless they're invited? You know, that sounds very vampiric.
It does.
Yes.
I mean, is that kind of where maybe that came down through the folklore and got attached to vampires? Is because there is
I don't-
actually this race that can't be invited in? And see,
I don't-
and you guys know, I love the Fae. That's my big thing. So that, and that brings me back to them. Is it going to end up being something attached to that?
It's kind of ritualistic when you think about it. I sat down and kind of made a generalized list of all the things that are associated with the majority of the Black-Eyed Kid stories. And it's freaky how many things are connected and are the same. And of course, anybody can say, well, that's because the majority of them are made up and they're just following a recipe
Yeah.
for it. But you have to take into account a lot of these people who have told their stories have never heard of the Black-Eyed Kids before and are just coming into it and telling their story and realizing that there's other people like them. So I thought that was really interesting. But like some of those things are like they're always in pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. When it's the kids, they're always in pairs. There's always one quite a bit older than the other. And almost always it's just the one that speaks. The second one never says a word. They're more like a prop in the background.
Right.
Right? They're usually wearing hoodies. They're very rarely wearing shoes. And of course, they have the black eyes. And another odd thing is a lot of people don't even realize they have black eyes until a good portion into their conversation with them. They look normal to them. And then kind of when they get the hint that something's really wrong is when they see the eyes. They make people sick. Oh, and they almost always speak telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
Like once they ask out loud to you and you say no, they'll start speaking to you in your head. It's kind of, you know, they'll like a lot. I've read a lot of stories where they like would look through their peephole. Someone would knock on their door and they look through the peephole and see these freaky kids and decide they're not going to open the door. And then the kids talk to them in their heads. You know, like, you're going to let me in.
Yeah.
And they're like, how the hell do they even know I'm on the other side of the door?
Or I read several stories where the person was talking to them and not going to let them in because they said something that was off. They always almost do or say something that's off. They look at each other like they're having a conversation and then turn back with an answer like, "Oh, our cell phone is dead," and stuff like that.
And another thing that I didn't see anybody talk about. I mean, they talked about it within the incidents, but nobody talked about the fact that it happens every time. Every story I found where they got into the vehicle or they got into the house, the electric went out.
Mm-hmm.
They blew the electric.
Radiation.
And nobody ever brings that up. So, yeah, is that a radiation thing? I don't know how that works.
I mean, it could be an EMP.
Yeah.
Opening a portal or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
I
I
know,
wonder is if they're coming through a portal, a dimensional slip for them or something like that, and it's residual radiation from the transfer.
Well, you'd think that there'd have to be, especially if they were using some sort of mechanical method to make said transfer. Like, I don't know, Large Hadron Collider?
Yeah.
So my
Well,
question,
I mean,
what is
sorry,
the
go ahead, Pam.
ultimate? What is the ultimate reason? I mean, the only people that could probably answer that are the ones that are no longer there, because after their encounter, they're just not there.
Yeah, and how many are those? We will never know.
Exactly. But the glamour, I don't know. It's interesting.
It is.
It's freaking scary.
It's terrifying because it's so crazy.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm going to tell you.
So, okay, we've talked about the black-eyed kids and we've talked about the black-eyed adults. Are we going to talk about the white-eyed adults and the white-eyed kids?
I've never heard of that.
So, I've always thought this was really cool, and they're very rarely brought up. If you go back and listen, I think it was in 2017, the Astonishing Legends podcast did a long series on black-eyed kids. And I don't know, anybody that's listened to them, they are dig deepers. I mean, they will take the biggest deep dive you've ever seen. And they came up with all these fabulous stories about people being attacked or followed by the black-eyed kids or the black-eyed adults, and a white-eyed kid or a white-eyed adult showing up to help them. So, yeah, it's really interesting. Almost as if like they're the anti-black-eyed and they're there to control them or to keep them at bay. In every story, and these came from all over the place, they would, in the midst of this meeting up with these black-eyed people, and they were, scared to death like they always are, and they feel fear, and then this white-eyed kid would swoop in and whisper to them or something and be like, "Don't worry, I've got this," and would walk up and literally just walk towards the black-eyed person, and they would automatically start backing off and make their exit very quickly. And they come in all forms too, adults, old people, young people, and they always make eye contact or tell them telepathically, "Don't worry, I got you. We're going to fix this. You don't have to worry about them anymore." And I decided to do a little digging on it too. And the stories are harder to find, but they're there too.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, kind of like a anti-black-eyed. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, so would that be an example of like, the battle between good and evil? The eternal battle.
But
That's kind of
it's almost like a guardian angel, stepping in, pushing them away.
I'm more prone to believe these stories too, because the couple that I did find, and you can, if you go through the Astonishing Legends page, they give you all sorts of information on how to go and find these stories that they found. The way they read are very amateur. they're not written by a professional storyteller. Or in one of them, I thought it was hilarious. They got halfway through the story and then had to back up because they had remembered something else that they should have said at the beginning. And they told that right in the middle and then went on with their story. And I was like, there's no way somebody who's even partially proficient at writing would have done that.
That makes sense.
A couple of run-on sentences, and I was like, no, that's somebody's first-hand account. And in all of them, they say the minute that white-eyed person shows up, that they just feel this relief. As fast as that fear came on with the black-eyed people, it was just whoosh, gone. And kind of like you said, almost like they were like a warrior there to keep evil at bay.
That's almost what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So
I just thought it was
we're
really
talking
interesting.
demons and angels? Or jinn and whatever is anti-jinn? I don't know. Because supposedly there's good jinn too. Maybe that's that white-eyed kid. I don't know. We need to do a show on jinn soon.
We do.
Oh, Pam just got really excited. I can tell.
Oh, I've just made her whole evening.
Pam is a gin master.
Oh, cool.
Gin master.
Isn't the jinn? Aren't they more like the Indian skinwalker? You know, you're not supposed to talk about them and all that,
You're not
you'll
supposed to
attract
talk
them.
about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those, if you look into the abyss looks back kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever follow or on TikTok or whatever, but you kind of get into the creepy side of it, and there's this, like, they call it Appalachia talk about all the goings on up in Appalachia, and they say if you saw it, no, you didn't. If you hear something, no, you didn't.
If something calls your name, it did not.
My wife, she said, "Don't do it." We'll have to get a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna be like, who found the weirdest story? Who found the weirdest BEK story?
There's Willie.
Because hey,
Yes,
Will.
we are.
I would
I
almost
found
bet
some
it's
weird
you.
crap.
I had one.
So.
Now go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm gonna say I had one. It not doing the research for the show. This was it's been several years ago. It's like right after I found out about black-eyed children, and my interest was piqued. But I started looking and reading stories on them, and it was the typical MO, but it was outside of a strip club. And
Black-eyed hookers? There are whole cities in trouble, Phil.
Yeah, I know it.
Chicago is going down.
But yeah, Willie said, "Good to see you, gentlemen and Jess. Nice to put a face to you, Pam."
It's true. Hi.
Man, if you want, you can jump on with us.
That would be cool.
But yeah, this story, I guess this stripper or whatever took a break and went out to her car or whatever and was smoking or doing whatever strippers do at their car when they take a break. I don't know. But
You really know, Phil.
Huh?
You really don't want to know.
No, probably not. But anyway, she was approached, or maybe they were getting off shift. I don't know, but she was out there, and two black-eyed kids came up, and one of her friends saw it. I mean, she was like across the parking lot, and she ran back inside and told the bouncer or whatever what was going on. Well, they had a closed circuit TV, security cameras and stuff up. And they turned the security camera and they couldn't see anything on the camera. They weren't visible. But there was a whole thing, and the stripper wound up speeding off, but they never saw the stripper or whatever, or not the stripper, but the black-eyed kids on camera.
So, again, vampires.
Yeah, it's weird.
I found a story where a guy had sex with one.
What?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it is
I have
black-eyed
it pulled up.
strippers. Black-eyed hookers.
I have it pulled up. I'll read it for you because it's pretty short.
I wonder if it was the same ones.
I don't know.
You really just
This
said
is-
pretty short.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We
So
need Willie on here. Willie
Yeah.
Willie would love this.
come on, Will. This is exciting. It's like a party in here. Okay, so my friend,
My wife said, "Do you smoke after sex?" I don't know, baby. I've never looked.
okay. Story time. Here we go. My friend took a road trip to see a friend in California. They visited, said their goodbyes, and he stopped by a bar to have a drink before going to his hotel for the night. The bartender was a beautiful woman, and she served him and chatted and smiled. After a few more drinks, the woman told him he could stay at her place. She said to leave his car there, and she would drive him back the next day, as her place was hard to find and somewhat remote. He took her up on it. He told me later that he began to be very fearful when they arrived at her home. She took him to her room, and of course, the inevitable sex experience happened. He said that he was actually frightened of her then as well. Men. You'll sleep with anything. Ugh.
I mean,
Anyways.
there's some of them.
He said that he was actually frightened of her then as well, as she was not acting normally and sounded almost inhuman in a way. I'm sure he thought he was just doing really good. After laying in bed for a while, the woman had fallen asleep, and he got up to get water from the kitchen. As he was walking to the sink, he saw numerous small, frightening-looking children walking to and fro about the place. It was a large 2-story house. He wondered what they were doing up at 2 a.m., if they had school the next day. He also said that they looked at him with completely black eyes, and he was terrified of him. And he had a horrible feeling about them. It turns out the woman owned the bar, and she did return him the next day. She forced him out, and he had to walk to the highway. I met up with him a week or two later, and he seemed perfectly fine, but a little frazzled. About a month later, this extremely healthy, athletic individual was diagnosed with bladder cancer, and no medication or treatment would impact his condition. He believed it was directly related to that experience with the black-eyed children and that woman in California. He died 6 months after his diagnosis.
Jeez.
Well, when you screw around with a succubus and her
And her
That's
minions.
Demon
what that
spawn.
sounds like. Is a
she's
succubus.
breeding demons in her house.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. My wife said, "Could you imagine the child support?"
That's why they die. It's the shock at seeing the child support.
I guess so. That reminds
I just
me.
love that.
I mean,
I'm so scared of this, but I'm going to screw her anyway, because when's this going to happen again?
Willie, that's a smidge terrifying.
It's more than a smidge terrifying.
That reminds me of that movie, Don't Be a Menace to South Central. Did you guys ever see that movie? Are you my daddy? What do we say to the nice man?
Gosh.
Oh my god! I think Jess
I've
won.
not seen that in so long.
Yeah,
Yeah, just one on that one.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
crazy one.
And he got bladder cancer because he was sticking
Yeah.
his junk where he shouldn't have been.
It
Lesson to
happens,
you
I
both.
guess.
hmm Yep.
Yeah, I think you win that one. I don't think anybody can top that one.
No, not even gonna try.
No. I might have
I'm scared of what
have
would
to write
top
a
that.
new book. That's bad.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm scared, but I'm still gonna do it. I don't.
Gonna take one for the team.
I guess.
Hey, what's that tail?
My wife said, "Is that the scene
No.
from Scary Movie?" it could be.
Are those
Isn't that
horns on your
scene where
head?
like her head starts spinning around and vomits and
That's like, have you guys seen American Gods? On I think it's on Showtime. Is it on Showtime or is it HBO? I think it's Showtime.
I have
I
not.
can
Is that
run
where they bring in where the new gods are replacing the old gods?
Yeah, Neil Gaiman wrote the
I-
book. and they based
I started watching it.
Did you see the one where the succubus basically?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know how to word that. She just
What?
inhales?
You have Mark and I on
know.
edge.
Well,
Yeah, I have no
swallowed,
clue.
I guess.
I don't even know how to describe
I don't
it.
know.
But apparently,
I'm-
he felt
I'm
the same.
afraid.
He was scared, but he did it anyway.
Yep.
Men are the worst. You
Men are
guys
the
suck.
We don't, but we may know some that do.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm thinking
been-
one in particular.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
No, that's the guy we work with.
Yeah, it's bad.
So what else? Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about how a lot of people think they're tulpas?
I kind of wonder that. I kind of
mean,
wonder.
Yeah.
That makes a little bit of sense.
You
Yeah.
know, not
Well,
unlike.
they could be just like Slender Man. Everybody thinks Slender Man is now real, and it's because he's a tulpa, because we kind of just brought him into being. That actually, I'll talk a little bit about. I kind of have a new personal theory that we have tulpas, but they're not defined correctly. I think that things like Slenderman and things like that are from other dimensions and been brought in. So let me see if I can back it up. Let me back it up.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. I know Mark has because we've discussed it before, but there's a theory that people who are artistic writers, anybody with any kind of that kind of artsy skill, are naturally people who travel back and forth between dimensions. That the original 9 muses are basically our way to tap into other lines. So every time like an artist makes a new drawing or a piece or a sculpture, they were influenced by another line that they had access to at the time. Pam knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Us being artists, when we start a piece, when we truly get into working on a piece, we go into the zone.
Mhm.
We can't be bothered. We can't see anything else that's going on around us. It's just you and that piece for hours on end, and you will lose. It's like a time slip. You will lose time. You'll have
100%, yeah.
you think you've been there for 30 minutes and you've been there for 3 hours. So there's a theory that the original 9 muses were transports in and out of other dimensions. So even like a writer, when a writer comes up with a new story, it's not a new story. It's literally a story that has happened in some other line somewhere, and they had access to it. And they are basically the muse that has brought it into ours.
Mhm.
So when I say that tulpas are wrongly defined, if we can bring it into being, it's already been in being somewhere else in another line, and we've given it access to our line. So that would explain how Bigfoot, if Bigfoot are interdimensional, how they get in, and how aliens move in and out and everything. It's all interdimensional. So if my theory were right, black-eyed kids already existed in a lot of other lines, and when these stories started kind of popping up and they became more prevalent, our thought process as a whole opened that portal up for them to come and go. Does that make any sense, or does that sound really woo?
No, it makes good
It
sense.
does make sense.
Kind of like the Slender Man. So the dude who originally wrote the original Slender Man story that went into the creepypasta, when he thought of that, he wasn't thinking of that. He was actually reaching into another dimension or a side parallel to ours where it existed, and he dreamed him into our being. And
I
it
like
was
that.
popular enough, there was a big enough collective brain to it that we allowed it that open into our line. It's completely open now, so it can come and go. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense. It's kind of like that quote at the beginning of that movie. Demons are like well-trained dogs. They come when you call them. So, if enough people call, it's going to come.
Yeah. See,
So
I kind of wondered, kind of along that lines, not necessarily, maybe not a tulpa or something, but maybe an old spirit, or we'll just say legend, or because they're saying it now, it's an urban legend, but I believe there's too many stories out there that it's not an urban legend. But it's kind of like Hat Man or Spring Heel Jack. How that story kind of comes back around. Especially like in the example of Slender Man. Could it be that kind of an old spirit kind of reborn, so to speak?
Maybe. Everything could be a possibility.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we all love this so much, is because it could be anything.
I can talk about this for hours.
It's a search for it's a search for the answer to a question that we'll never find.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
The path there is fun.
It is, absolutely.
Exactly.
It is. I would recommend to anybody. Because I think it forces you to open your mind, to look at all different aspects, and eventually you realize you may not get the answer you want, but how many other answers to other questions did you find?
Or how many other questions are you going to run into while you're looking?
Right.
That's what we run into all the time.
Right.
One thing to another, and then
it's delightful when it's
Squirrel.
not being utterly frightening.
Yeah, it's fun to go down these. Especially we had a heavy show Monday. This is spooky, but it's not so spooky. We're talking about it right now. For me, this kind of show gives us a break. From the heavy stuff that we talked about, like on Monday's show. But with the black-eyed children, though, there's so many possibilities. Could it be a DARPA project? Could it be the black or the Men in Black or whatever? There's so many things that you can speculate on, but there's no way to prove it.
Right.
Unless the government came out tomorrow and said,
Not
"Hey,
yet.
we have these." Right.
Right.
And then if the government came out and said, "Yeah, this is a project we've been having," I'd probably be 50-50.
It's CERN.
That's scary.
maybe
It's
that's
CERN.
the next step. They're telling us that there's UFOs and UAPs, and they're admitting to that now.
Right.
What's next? What else are they going to admit to that they know about for sure, that we've only speculated about?
Yeah, we're going to see a news article one of these days. One of these, a senator or something is going to have a headline: "I married a vampire."
Right. My
And
son
they're
Levi.
secretly contrling the government.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my son Levi said if it
I
was
could
Men in
actually
Black, I'm
buy
breaking
that.
out my tinfoil hat.
Hey, Levi, they actually make hats with the lining already in them, so they don't look
They
like
do.
tinfoil. They actually
gonna
make,
You're not
Mark,
helping your
don't
cause,
forget-
Mark. They're not
Put the
helping your
liner in
cause.
hat there.
and it's disturbing that I should know this, but I actually have some in my queue on Amazon, believe it or not.
You're giving up too much information again, sweetie.
I've surprised no one. No one is surprised that I know this.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh.
But see, I wonder if the tinfoil hat will help you, protect you against the black-eyed kids.
Well, they could
It
at least-
actually might. You can actually buy clothes with that lining too, so everybody should buy the EMF-proof clothing and hats. And black-eyed children are nothing. Get away from me, kid! You bother me.
Get your driver's hat, like you got now. Levi said, "Who said insanity couldn't be stylish?" Well, that's right.
Don't encourage. Don't encourage.
I haven't known him
not
long, but I'll corrupt him. scrub.
Well, he's had 20 years with me, so 21 years.
Well, I mean,
Almost
just
22
needed
years.
that little extra to push him over the edge. I'll send him some links to the
Right?
special hats.
Oh, now he's a pusher.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm a hat pusher.
Oh,
Enabler.
no.
We like to say enabler.
Yeah.
I call it being a dealer. Stop, Mark. Shame.
I'm a bad man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've already talked. I mean, that they've came from centuries ago, Scandinavia, the Iroquois. I don't think it's a CERN thing, unless CERN's bringing them back. I mean, but I don't think it's a CERN thing because it's been a lot longer than CERN's been around, or has it?
Yeah, I'm
Who
just
knows?
blaming him on CERN because I blame
Well-
everything on it these days.
You have to remember, there's more than one collider.
Right.
That's true.
They're all over the place, and they've been around for a long time. They started
Yep.
doing colliders in the late 80s, I believe it was when like the real good colliders really started getting put into use. So, not that I'm saying that they're the cause.
Right.
That'd be just
Black Eyed Kids.
right timing for Brian's story.
Yeah.
Oh, we could try to correlate if there's any major science projects going anywhere near any of these sightings.
Yeah. If they had dates, you could.
Yeah.
What did you all think about the prevalence of the Black Eyed Kids in like specific areas? Like, they're widespread, yes, but they kind of group into
Yeah.
different areas. I thought that was kind of odd too. There's not a ton in our area either. I found a few stories. I can't say that all of them were true or just made up, but like, there's a mass amount in Texas.
Yeah.
All over Texas.
That screams
Just
portal
tons.
or, organized group with headquarters.
Maybe. I mean, that's where Brian Bethel was when he saw his. He was in
True.
Abilene.
Right.
And there was a lot of sightings around his too. I mean, people came out with later, and you can take that with a grain of salt, whether you think they just made it up and said that it happened around the time that his did, whatever. But they group like crazy in specific areas, like the ones in the UK around the Cornwall area. There's a group of them higher up in California that bursts out. I don't know, headquarters, like you said. I don't know.
Huh.
Secret bases.
I
wonder.
almost wonder if there's correlation between those groupings and groupings of other things that are seen. Like, if
We
you could
found that in
correlate it
some
with
of your-
something.
We've found that in some of your researches.
Yeah.
Ley lines, the
Yes.
38th parallel. I mean, anything could be. That's something you should log those on your map with everything else.
How
But it's hard to
close are
do
they
because,
cave? I mean,
yeah.
cave systems, they have all kinds of other things along with them.
That's true.
I don't know how many. I'm not that familiar with Texas. Are there a lot of caves down that way? I don't know.
I don't.
If there
think
are, I've
so.
never heard of them.
I don't.
Yeah, I've
I
never-
don't know of any. I mean, I'm sure that there are some, but I don't think they're
I would
super
think there would be a few
prevalent.
at least.
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean, we have
maybe
some in
West Texas.
Kansas.
Yeah. Maybe in West Texas, because that's closer to the Rockies and all that.
I don't know if that'd make any sense. So the largest amount of cave systems sits underneath Kentucky and the
Right.
outlying states there, and there is not a huge mass amount of B caves there. So
Maybe
I don't know
their
if that's
natural
quite related.
enemies come out of the caves.
Ooh, this is where the wide-eyed people are from. That
That's
makes
what I was
sense.
gonna
They live in the
say.
caves.
Maybe.
Do they only?
Yeah,
do
that's
white-eyed
the-
people only come out at night.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's the Mammoth Cave system you're talking about, isn't it, Jess?
yeah.
It goes from like up in the northeast all the way almost to the Ozarks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's huge.
Yeah, but that mass amount is underneath Kentucky, and then it just kind of dwindles out. It dwindles out this way,
Like fingers.
I believe. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that makes sense. White-eyed people coming from the cave systems. So you're screwed if you run into a BK and you don't live above a cave system. That's why the
There you go.
white-eyed people are so rare.
That's it. That's it. They only live in caves.
Yeah. So word to the wise, if you all are really scared of BKs, move above a cave system. Because there's your help. You're good to go.
Then you only have to worry about the goblins, you know.
Right.
Pam, you're
make
ruining the
good-
good vibes here.
They make good pets.
Shh. Tell them about the goblins.
Yeah, I would like to do a show on like the Appalachia stuff, because there's a lot of stuff going on up there.
We could do
A lot of
several.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, you got Mothman, you got the goblins. They talk about Wendigo and some Skinwalker stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a ton of stuff.
Kentucky's got it all, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we could do like 20 shows on Kentucky. I love the
yeah.
Kentucky
Easy.
stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Just
Maybe
on
we-
Kentucky.
Maybe we should
Isn't-
go on a road trip.
That'd be cool.
Good trip.
100%. I'm in.
We'll buy a Winnebago and we'll just go.
Isn't that where they did Hellier? Yeah, Hellier was West
Yeah.
Virginia, wasn't it?
Tell you,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
No. Hellier, Kentucky?
Was
Would
it? Yeah.
that be
Okay.
called a Winnebago?
Which
No.
boo.
No. Let's not go down this path.
Hellier, Kentucky actually was one of the areas that received most of the flooding just within the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had a lot of damage down through there.
Probably don't want to go anytime soon then.
No.
No, for sure.
Ooh, we could go into the whole Chief Cornstalk, the whole thing with Mothman. I
Yeah.
tracked his fuzzy butt, right? He was a chief of 4 other tribes. How
Hmm.
does that work, right? He left a trail all over Kentucky. He has his name plastered in the inside of caves where they were mining for gold.
Huh.
Yeah.
Big Willie's said RV for the win. RV life for the win.
In one tribe, he was the supposed king, and he had a queen, and his daughter was the princess. Now, where in the hell in Indian lore have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Besides, like modern day powwows where they crown a princess.
That would be more of a Incan or Aztec thing.
Exactly, and in and around all of these Cherokee tribes and stuff that he was chief of, they talk a lot about the tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Indians, the tribes that they wouldn't have anything to do with because they were evil. And they would come down out of the cave systems and attack.
Hmm.
I have read those.
They were like the underground people.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris said we'd get in too much trouble if we went on a long road trip.
She's probably
It
right.
doesn't even have to be a long road trip.
Well, she's not invited. You can
She
stay
would get
home
in
if you're going to be a
trouble
party
just going 20
pooper.
miles.
I gotta be nice to her. I'm trying to talk her into becoming my producer.
Awesome.
But she's already your stage mom, right?
Well, and she tells on me all the time anyway.
Well, that's what a stage mom does.
Oh, okay. I am kind of childlike.
Mhm.
They told me if I made it to 50 and didn't grow up, I didn't have to.
Works for
Well, you're
me.
in good company.
There you
We're right there with you. Or I am. Jess isn't there yet. I don't
No,
think
she's a
Triple Z's
youngin'.
there. You and
No,
I
not
are.
go.
quite.
Still,
I got a few more years.
don't worry. I'll
I'll
correct
get
you
there.
too.
Poor old elderly people.
Right? Gotta break out the canes and the walkers.
I can hear your bones creaking from here.
Oh. I'll tell you what, today I thought I heard
True that, Andrea. True that.
My wife said all men are just big children. I can't deny it.
She's not wrong.
I mean, a few weeks ago, we went to Kansas City for the weekend and took the kids to Legoland, and I was having just as much fun. So,
Right? Who doesn't love
They have a
Legos
Legoland
except
in
at 2
Kansas
a.m.
City?
2 a.m. in the morning
What's
on your
that?
way to the bathroom?
They have a Legoland in Kansas City?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where at?
down in Crown Plaza.
I want to go.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds like
right.
fun.
I mean, it's the same building as that
Michael take
aquarium,
it.
Sea Life or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $36 for a combination ticket. And we spent the
Nice.
whole day there.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
it was
sounds like
cool.
fun.
It was fun. But you have to be accompanied, and they have it on the website. You have to be accompanied by somebody under 17.
Hey,
I've got
we
Mike.
can find volunteers, so that won't be a problem.
Yeah,
I'll let them
My
talk to Mike
granddaughter's
for 2
3.
minutes.
She's
They'll be
just heard
fine.
for years.
my wife. Thanks, dear. Thanks for the vote of confidence. She said I'm her oldest child that it requires the most supervision. Yeah, probably so.
My wife would agree.
Yeah, your wife. She did. She agreed with Andrew's first comment.
Yep, she did. She did.
Oh man.
I hate.
Where else? What
I
else
am at
we
least
got?
2 children.
At least 2.
I'm at least 2 children.
Yeah, this has been fun. I mean, it hasn't really been spooky or scary, but I mean, the black-eyed children are creepy. When you start digging into it, it's crazy.
when
I mean,
you-
just
When you take anything and put it with a kid,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's innately creepy. And I think it's just because kids are just, in anyone's eyes, is just like the most innocent thing you can have.
yeah. Willie said Christina has a shirt that says "Raising my husband is exhausting."
Hey, Will, my wife will probably be talking to your wife. I bet she wants one.
Yeah, where'd you get that?
Oh yeah, I
What is it
mean,
for, Jess?
But yeah, you're
Can you
right,
put a link
Jess.
up or something? Anyways, yeah, when you put anything creepy or anything with a kid, it's automatically creepy. I mean, even you can go even as far as like baby dolls. Creepier
those
than
give me
crap.
the freaking.
And I think it's just because it's the
Oh.
balance of innocence against, whatever freakish thing you're putting with it. It's just
Yeah.
overload.
My wife's gonna make some. Yeah, it is.
Oh, we've
It's-
started something now.
I mean, personally, I have a soft spot for kids. I love kids. I love watching them grow. I love watching them learn. And just their sense of imagination and awe that they have at everything. But then, and that's that innocence you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it bugs the crap out of me. You hear child ghosts or the black-eyed kids. Willie said, "I like to think that I come with more perks than the kids, but it's close, very close." Yeah, but yeah, it does. It bothers me. When I see anything happen to little kids, it bugs the crap out of me. I mean, I don't care what it is. If they're having a hard time or whatever, it does. It really does bother me. And then you throw the black-eyed kids on top of it, because I believe any sane person would be willing to help a little kid out if they're lost or if they need to use the phone or what have you. So, and then when the fear or the apprehension kicks in,
Mm-hmm.
I think it throws everybody for a loop because they're not used to that with kids.
Insidious, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, your system automatically almost makes you help children. You're
That protective.
especially anybody who has kids.
Mhm.
Your automatic response to anybody else's children, if it's something's wrong, somebody's in danger, they're getting into something they shouldn't be, you automatically want to help or fix. And I think that's really what gets you these black-eyed kids. Your automatic response is almost to help them, but then that fear overrides it, and you're kind of in battle with yourself.
Yep.
Well, is that why they choose to portray themselves as children?
That's
Because-
my
I
guess.
would bet so.
I
They're
think
just
so.
trying to get a leg up on, doing whatever nefarious thing they're trying to do to get them through the front door, quite literally.
Exactly, because if you look at the things that we're seeing time and again, they have to be invited in. Who are you more likely to invite in? A child that needs assistance or an adult? You know,
Yeah, a
Yep.
child
It's
or an
almost-
old person would be the two
Yeah.
things that.
it's almost always going to be a child before the adult. And I don't, we're talking about creepy kids, which immediately makes me think of Pet Cemetery, which was
Yep.
when I was in junior high. That book scared me so bad I had to throw it in the hallway to sleep. When Gage comes back, can't handle that. That's terrible. But I mean, it makes for great creepy stuff.
It does.
The kids for sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll
it's-
share.
I got one
And-
for you.
We'll share the link, so you guys can go to the comments and see the link for the shirt.
Yay! Thanks, Will.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little while.
Yeah.
Will, he said, didn't vampires have lore about being invited in? Yeah,
Yes.
and we speculated that this may be where the vampire legend came in at, or tied in with it.
Very, very.
I wonder
well
if there's
said.
more to it. Like, can you kill a BEK with like a stake? Can you stake them in the heart,
I don't know.
cut their heads off?
Throw garlic at them.
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Sacrifice small animals to them. I don't know.
Maybe that's where the cats went.
Exactly.
I
mean,
don't know.
I
Here's
guess-
a good
That-
question. So okay,
Do they
here's
like
a good
Chinese
question.
That was not very. That was insensitive. I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Where are the BEKs coming from, and where are they going when they disappear? Because I
That's-
found a few odd stories about them showing up. The one that really got me was this girl had come home from work, and she was hearing a knocking in her house, and she hurried up and got inside the house. She didn't have a cat or anything like that. She unlocks her front door, gets into the house, turns around, shuts the door, and relocks it, and realizes there's knocking on her third-story balcony window, like the sliding door.
Mhm.
And she pulls the curtains back, and there's two BEKs on her balcony patio, 3 stories up. And
Like
she
they
actually
didn't
called
know
the
they were supposed to.
Yeah, they were doing the whole spiel, let us in. We need to use your phone. We need to talk to our mom or whatever. And she was like, absolutely not. How the hell did you get on my balcony?
right.
And she wouldn't unlock it for him. And, then they got irate like they always do and was yelling stupid stuff like, we don't have a gun. We promise we're not going to kill you. Let us in
Yeah.
so we can call our mom. And she's
Well,
like,
ma-
screw you. I'm calling the cops. And she did. She called the cops, and she said the minute she put the phone down, after getting off the phone with them, she noticed they were gone. And she opened up the door and peered outside to see, she said it was just like one of those little small apartment patios, nowhere to go. They were just gone.
Like I said,
And the cops told her some cockamamie thing like, oh, they probably climbed down. But she was like, I'm on the 3rd story.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a
Yeah, they're not
right.
going to
ladder.
just jump or climb. For
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
like I said, I would have Spartan kicked him right off the balcony, just 3 stories down.
There's a really interesting one. I was talking about some of the stories they heard on the Astonishing Legends podcast. This girl had come on with her own personal story and told it live on their show. It was so interesting. Her friend drove her home. She was in a new addition that was being built, and she was at the end of a cul-de-sac, and her friend dropped her off, and she walked to her front door, unlocked it, went in the house, and the minute she shut the door behind her, she heard a knock. And she opened the door, and there was a girl standing there with a stroller. She never got to see the kid in the stroller. She just saw its legs sticking out. And she guessed by the size of the legs, it had to have been about a 2-year-old in that stroller. And this girl went through the whole spiel too. Would you let me in and let me use your phone? I need to talk to my mom. And she told her absolutely not, and slammed the door on her, and her mom came to find out what was going on. And she says, there's this girl out there saying that she needs to use the phone. And I told her no. And she was like, well, good. And they checked the window, and she was gone. And the girl thought it was really odd because she had like kind of a long driveway, and she was at the end of a cul-de-sac. And all of the houses had the 6-foot-tall fencing around it so you can get into the backyard. So there was literally nowhere for this girl to go. She was just gone. And she had that stroller to push too. So
Totally normal.
and she even mentioned, she was like, for that girl to knocked on my door right after I walked through it, we would have seen her when we pulled up into the cul-de-sac. There would have been anywhere
Especially
for
with
her
the
to
stroller.
hide.
Yeah, I mean, you would have noticed that.
So, where do they come from, and where do they go when they vanish?
You know, there's
Hot Night Joe.
also talk of them being like a hybrid when between aliens and humans, and you know, there's a lot of abduction stories of, you know, where they feel like that their eggs have been harvested and things like this, and that people believe that this is what the black-eyed children are. I don't.
I mean, that's actually a really good theory, and they're getting there with their Star Trek transporter.
maybe. I mean, who knows?
I mean, if they've got the technology to fly across the cosmos, they should be able to do that.
That's
You would
true.
think.
You would think. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
I
that's.
mean-
I don't know.
Or portals.
I mean, obviously, with the stories, you know, there's a lot of Men in Black connections. So wherever they go, apparently, you know, the one story with the older couple, you know, with the man with the nosebleed and all that. Obviously, they picked him up. You know, I mean, it just depends on where the Men in Black are.
Yeah.
You know, is it are they overseeing the breeding program? I don't know if they're hybrids, you know, or is that something they're doing? Willie starts dancing hard. Where'd you come from? Where did you go? God,
I thought the same thing, Big Willie.
Nice. I'm sure they hate that song just as much as we all do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
almost
lost my
forgot.
train of thought.
Welcome to my
lost my
world,
train of
Jess.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know a whole lot about Men in Black. I haven't done a whole bunch of study on them, but have any of you all heard where a correlation with Men in Black and those same like cancer illnesses and stuff?
I have.
You have? Okay, so because I was
Like
trying to make sure that
radiation.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Like, I
radiation
know
sickness.
the correlation between them and the black-eyed kids are like really strong for me. I mean, like if you go back and read through a lot of like John Keel stuff, because he goes heavy into Men in Black and all the freaky crap they do, it very much sounds like BEK, only without the black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That vacant and not knowing what's really going on and not understanding how simple things work. You know, like that one couldn't figure out how to eat Jell-O. She brought him the Jell-O or whatever, and he was like trying to drink it or something like that.
I remember that one.
And they would offer weird idle threats, kind of like the BKs do. Like, you don't have to be scared of me. I don't have a gun. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like they're grown-up BKs. Maybe they lose their black eyes after a while or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe they finally able to afford the contact.
Yeah,
A
I
fourth
don't know.
contact.
They ordered human eye contacts from Amazon.
Oh,
I believe.
contact.
Contact. Yeah.
I get it now. I was like,
Okay.
where you were going with that?
Sorry.
They got smart enough and were like, ooh, let's order some of these.
Yeah. Oh, look. The internet is great.
Yeah. And they're like, shit, I don't have a prescription. I'm going to have to go into
Right.
Canada.
Mexican contact.
That's where I get mine from.
From Canada.
Yeah, because I don't want to go get a prescription. I know they're fine.
Yeah.
You can tell Levi I posted the link to the Protect ID EMF apparel, so he can protect
Funny.
himself.
I don't even know if he's still on here. He might be.
He might be. He can catch it later. I made him a promise. I had to fix him up. Oh my goodness.
Well, man, it has been fun. I know that. It's been a good conversation. You guys have anything else you want to share? Something weird, odd, what have you?
Oh, Lord. don't open that can of worms. That's kind of our
Weird
specialty.
We might as well just stay on 24/7, Phil.
Right. Well,
If you wanted a network, we've got the making.
yeah,
for it right
definitely. You know, I mean, none of us won the big lottery, so we can't afford to do that. So
Yeah, that's true. We can talk
But
about
hey-
the Paracon coming up.
yeah,
here.
man, go
we
for
need
it.
to do that.
Absolutely.
I put the
So-
link on our page.
Yeah, it's just been growing and growing. We had a couple more join us just last night. So
Nice.
we have a guy coming in from Enid, isn't he,
Yes.
from Pam?
Mhm.
He does Bigfoot, so that'll
Sweet.
be fun. He's going to be bringing in maps and having people tell their stories to him, and he's going to record them and then map them all out.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. Yeah. And we have a tarot reader coming in from Oklahoma City. And she's got a friend that vends just all sorts of mystical, weird, fun stuff. So that'll be
Cool.
there. Right now, it looks like we have over 25 speakers.
We're
we
going to need to do a
have-
2-dayer next year.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
authors and historians and investigators. We have cryptozoologists. We have Bigfoot people. We have a sprinkling of everything, and it should be really good. It's going to go from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6:30 in the evening. There's going to be 5 panels, I believe.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll be throwing that up if you go to SEK Bordertown Paranormal Society on Facebook. You can watch all the updates as they come along and get yourself pre-registered. It is free admission to get in that day. It'll be in Caney, Kansas at the Rec Center, and all that info that you'll need will be up on that page. And you can join the link there to the like and like the page and all of that, and it'll give you all the updates and everything that you need to know. It should be a blast.
Yep.
Be
Am
sure
I
to
forgetting
anything?
register though.
Yeah, try to pre-register. So, like, we're in a small town. We do have a large venue, but Lord, if we already have 25 speakers, I can't imagine how many of the public might want to attend. We are going to have door prizes. So far, we have 2 full ghost hunting bags. It's going to have K2 meters in it and dowsing rods and tactical flashlights and ghost hunting books and journals and decals. We're hoping the What If Tomorrow guys might float us some t-shirts or something.
Maybe we should
Little
throw in a
merch.
roll of aluminum foil too.
Yeah,
There
Yeah.
you go.
aluminum
you
foil
go.
hats.
Hey, my wife can do the embossing. You know, the vinyl. We could do some tinfoil hats with our logo on
There you go.
Nice.
Perfect.
it.
I think you found your shtick. I think
That's
you
right.
did. Yeah.
Well, hey,
We're also
real quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to finish up real quick. We also have medium Christy Campbell coming in from Oklahoma. She is a fantastic medium,
awesome.
and she does readings for a living, and she has offered up 2 free readings as door prizes. She also does a
Sweet.
healing reading, too, that she's kind of offered up. So it'll be really interesting, whoever wins those things. I will say, to win those, you have to show up and enter, and you have to be there at the end of the day when we draw.
I will
right.
say with her, she read me the last year, and she read my stinking mail. It was
That's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Read your mail?
Yeah, literally.
Amazing.
I mean, I don't want to go into it because my kids are up here, but you know, right away she said you need to get your shoulder looked at, and at the time my shoulder was freaking killing me. And I mean, and I'm not really, other than meeting her, just kind of when everybody got there and all that, I'd never really talked to her or anything like that. And she was talking about my wife, my house, us remodeling. I mean, she laid it out there, and it was crazy. So yeah, I was definitely impressed. I do want to share something real quick, short little video. We shared it the other night, but Willie, he's part of us, and I'm going to share this real quick just to kind of give you guys a sneak peek. Yep, and we're working on a really good, long trailer. Excited, good things happening on our side with Willie and Ben and Joe from UFO Garage, Spooky and Sunny and Chad from the Chad Smith podcast and Paranormal Chop Shop. We've got some others we're working in. Big things happening, and it's exciting. I mean, watching this thing grow. My wife said no, they're downstairs. The kids. Chris asked, will she be doing paid readings that day?
I don't know. We'll have to discuss that with her. There will be a tarot reader there that day, though, doing live tarot readings. And she's actually really inexpensive. She is very well known. I think a short reading is $10 and a long reading is only $20. If any of y'all have never had a tarot reading done, you should really do it. It's very interesting.
It is.
And she's been doing this for a long time. She knows what she's doing, so that'll be fun.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, we're really excited. This thing has blown up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, Pam and I are like, we are so glad we have each other and Jen occasionally to help, and then Mark when he can, because this is impossible alone. I couldn't imagine trying to do it. So
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't either.
We're going to be doing a live podcast as well, sharing stories, and hopefully we can get our mic situation figured out better than we did last year. But we're going to be live podcasting from there.
yeah,
Probably during
gonna
breaks.
Yeah. We're gonna do a FaceTime live. And we're gonna definitely try to do a YouTube live this year. So if you aren't capable of getting into Caney, you can totally watch it. Just go in like our page so you can have access to it on the day of. And it'll be, I don't think I even mentioned the date. It's gonna be September 24th. It'll be a Saturday. And it's actually National Ghost Hunting Day, which actually turned out to be a sweet coincidence. We just found that out
like
like
a synchronicity.
That is a synchronicity. That is
it's a
awesome.
synchronicity.
Yeah, we had.
That is
I
awesome.
can't remember. It was someone that you had talked to, wasn't it, Jess, about maybe coming to speak, and they were like, "Oh, that's National Ghost Hunting Day," and we were like, "What?"
Yeah, we're like, holy crap!
We couldn't have
We're
planned it
better
any
than
better.
we thought.
No? That's all you guys. You guys are awesome. I mean, all I do
I
is
know,
work,
aren't we?
seems like. There's no doubt about it. I don't claim you guys as my sisters for no reason.
No, my wife says there's no such things to the coincidence. I
Yeah, it's
true.
totally
I
believe
agree
it.
with that.
I mean, from now on, I feel like we have to try to put it on National Ghost Hunting Day.
Well, that's what we said. We want to set it at this time because last year we accidentally put it at the same time Dalton Defender Estates was.
Yeah.
And that
And-
hurt our venue.
And the Bigfoot convention.
Oh yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
same day as the Bigfoot convention in Hanobia, which sucked for us because
Isn't
that's
that,
where everybody goes.
That's Ho Chi Town and all that, down by Ho Chi Town, Broken Bow, all that.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
thinking about going down there to it last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we found it looks like we're the only thing that really is big that happens on that day in our specific area. So we'll
Nice.
just stick with that.
Yep, that's awesome. Definitely. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think we can see what we can throw in the pot. So
That'll be great.
We did a couple shirts last year, right, Mark? I think
Yeah, we
did,
did a
Yeah.
didn't
couple
we?
shirts.
Yeah. We did a couple shirts, and I think we'll probably do that again. Maybe a couple other things we can figure out. I'm working on some new shirt designs and stuff like that as well as I get time. Maybe we'll debut some there. Maybe we'll do a special one for that. Maybe I'll figure out something special for the conference.
Cool.
That would be awesome.
So maybe,
We are
maybe do
also
that.
going to be in Amuse magazine, Southeast Kansas Amuse.
Sweet.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
We got to.
They
go
did a
up there.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a story on the Paracon, and they did a story on our ghost hunting group. I believe it'll be the September issue of Amuse that comes out. It's a Kansas-based magazine for anybody else that's listening, or so that's going to be really exciting. We're going to start having some radio spots on KGGF coming up a couple weeks out. So crazy stuff.
Yep.
And we're definitely putting a donation box out this year.
100%.
It's getting a little expensive,
I'm sure.
just a little. Yeah.
I mean,
and
what's
hopefully,
going to
GoFundMe
happen
next year?
Well, I was going to say what's going to happen next year, because I mean, the way it sounds, I mean, there wasn't, I don't know, 20, 30 people there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Of course, it was
And
raining.
there would have been more, but it was
Yeah.
pouring rain and we were outside.
Yeah, it was. That
Pouring
sounds
rain.
amusing. Dead crickets applaud. Willie, you need to come down for it, man.
He does.
That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool.
If you can
Or
make it
maybe
anyway.
we could FaceTime him in or something like that.
Yeah, we can figure something out. Absolutely.
We'll put him on show. Dance, monkey, dance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be
It's the beard.
cool.
He's got to wear the helmet too.
All right. We won't tell anybody who he is. We'll just put him up on a big screen and just wait and see what happens.
He said, "What's the date again?"
September
Saturday.
24th.
Saturday, September 24th.
Yep. 10 till 6:30. We're going to talk about local lore and legend of the 4 states. We're going to talk about Bigfoot and cryptids. We're going to talk about UFO, UAP, aliens.
I wanna see-
We're going to talk about ghost hunting.
Big Willie.
Equipment.
Really interesting. So this dude contacted me. His name's Daryl Thompson. He's from Washington State. He's just moved into the Kansas
no
area. And he is the head of Whisper, which is the Washington State Paranormal Group. They're actually a member of TAPS. And he's a former engineer, and he specializes in the proper use of ghost hunting equipment.
Sweet.
And he is going to come in and give a talk to the public too, although I'm sure they won't be as interested as we all are, but to all of the teams about how to properly use equipment. And we're going to do an exhibit for the public on all the different kind of equipment and how it's actually used. Because I know people are really interested in it. You know, they see all these gadgets on TV, on ghost hunters and all of that. And it'd be really cool to actually show them how they function. So that'll be fun.
Willie said it's going to be a good time.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great time. What I think is awesome about it, I mean, like I said, I mean, it sounds like it's just blown up. And I think it's something. I think it's something people are really interested in because they want to know: is there life after death, or what is this, or what is that?
Yeah, everybody's curious.
Yeah.
And this
and
is
that's
where we're at. You know, there's just not a lot of reports of things from the area. We're in a very conservative area. A lot of people don't like to talk about these things. And that's where, when we started our group, you know, we almost from the get-go, we're doing things anonymously. You know, you don't have to, we won't report this if you don't want us to, and things like that. We just go in and see what we can find, and if we can, you know, if there's any way we can help or not, or give them suggestions. And I think that's served us well, because we have people that will actually come to us and tell us their stories now. We do still hold those anonymously, you know, but they're more willing to tell us because we have a track record of keeping our word, that we don't go and spread, you know, those stories and get their names attached to them and things like that. So because of that, we've got so many stories coming in, and it's like, we actually now we're going to be able to show everyone else, you know, we're not this dead spot flyover in the middle of the United States.
Yep.
There's a lot going on here. There really is.
I think it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, this is our 4th year of doing it. Oh, minus COVID, the year that COVID shut everything down. And I can say with certainty, since that very first time we did it, and it was literally just us and one table in a little conference room in the library, and I think 10, maybe 15 people showed up to that.
10, 15, yeah.
That came and went.
We talked for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. It went from that to getting bigger and bigger, and when we started interacting with the public like that, more and more people got more open to what we were doing, and we aren't getting the weird looks anymore. And for our little town, that's saying something.
Yeah.
It may
That's
just be
true.
me.
It's just you, Mark. It's
know.
because you're so cute.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
if I had the pointy hat, maybe I'd look like a gnome or something. I'd grow beard like Willie.
We were talking about having a photo op. We should totally have tinfoil hats.
Don't
I'm
encourage
game.
him,
I'm in.
Pam.
I'll do it. I'll make a gnome hat out of tinfoil.
Oh,
I will
no.
do it.
You can
I
you
will-
can even curl it for the beard.
Chris is going to have to put you in the front garden. You're going to look like a garden gnome.
He's got the overalls. He's set.
We're going to give
I
you,
do.
yeah, you got the overalls. We're going to give you a little shovel, and you're just going to be the cutest yard piece. Chris.
We're sorry.
Well, everybody, if you watch this later on Facebook or YouTube, share it with your friends. Let people know that we're out here. And excuse me,
Sorry.
I'm
Sorry,
allergic to
Chris.
my own sense of humor. It's a thing.
I'm impressed. That was just 3 sneezes.
I know. I was holding it in very well, I thought.
You did a good job.
Usually I blow the monitor down or I at least have to get Windex.
Yeah, folks. I mean, come check them out. Especially if you're local, make plans to come. It's a great time. Lots of information. Chris got his distemper shot.
I'm safe.
But
Man.
yeah, it's a great time. Good people. Lots of good information being passed. Because last year was my first year doing it, and like I
We had a
said, we're
ball.
gonna be. I think we're gonna do a live stream. When we're doing our stories and things, and also we'll be doing the recording for the podcast later. But yeah, come join it. I mean, there's it's so much fun, especially if you like the weird and the paranormal and things like that. Like we're into, like things that we talk about.
Yeah, I
Highly
dare you
recommend
to
it.
find a con that's free.
Right.
Yeah, I've never heard
It's
of one.
completely free, and you can win
Yep.
bling, ghost bling
Yeah.
in the.
Yeah, there was a bunch. You guys gave a bunch of cool. You guys gave what 2 or 3 packs away last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave a pack and a half away. I made like a secondary kind of pack, but it all comes in a backpack. It's just ready to go. You got everything
Yeah.
you need to go ghost hunting, all in one bag.
And the people that
Yep.
won it, they were ghost hunting immediately. They called us within 2 days, and we're like, guess what?
My wife. I'm sure we could.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I always forget to mention this. This is going to be, I think, what did we decide? 12 and over?
Yeah.
No kids under the age of 12, just solely for the fact that we're going to be talking about some scary stuff that a lot of kids might not understand.
Right.
Yeah,
And
bling
some
bling.
disturbing
Will.
true stories.
Yeah, and for the fact that especially younger kids, toddlers and babies and stuff like that, it will be
It's a long
a little
day.
disruptive to the panel process, the back and forth and the debates that will happen. So we just kindly ask that no kid under the age of 12 come. Find yourself a babysitter or something. And of course, you don't even have to come for the whole day. If you watch our website or our Facebook site, we're going to post the schedule for the panels soon. And you can kind of pick and choose which panels you go to. They're all going to be falling at a certain time. So if you decide you just want to see Bigfoot and cryptids, you can come at that time. You don't have to be there all day.
Right.
Will, you're
What is
right.
Will saying?
Yep.
Tape recorders are the most
said
basic,
tape-
Yes.
most underutilized. Mm-hmm.
Tape recorder is the most basic,
Absolutely.
but also most underutilized, useful tool that you can have in ghost hunting.
Yes. You don't.
I actually have a cassette tape still from back in the day. Oh gosh, probably 1990 or 90, between 90 and 93, of one of the first EVPs I caught. I still have the cassette of it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife said that she don't need to go ghost hunting. We have a ghost in our house. I'm pretty sure we do, but
Well, and now
nothing bad's
how-
happened.
You can get a couple of memory cards that'll hold hours and hours and hours and hours and hours
Yep.
of stuff now. I remember the little 30-minute and 60-minute cassettes.
Yes.
They're a lot easier to keep track of too. You don't lose them.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
I actually think you get better EVPs off the tape. It's just not as convenient.
Willie said, "You ladies are not a day over 35. What do you mean cassette
Aw.
I
tapes?"
knew I liked you,
See,
Willie.
yeah, Will's my favorite. You
Yeah,
guys
he's-
suck. I like Will.
He's taking the favorite spot. He's probably doing the happy dance.
He is with a super sexy beard.
I know his beard is. I mean, I have such beard jealousy, man.
I do
really
too.
I do too.
He said, "I've heard it's a lot harder to fool a cassette tape."
Yeah.
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 I agree.
Well, and you get that analog noise too.
Yes, and like if I'm going to have to get mine converted so we can listen to it, because you can hear the inner workings of the machine itself, because we left it in a room in an attic and then took the kids trick-or-treating, and so you can hear, you know, the spools rolling and everything, so you know what that is. But then you start hearing stuff in the background, and you hear a woman laugh, a man talking. You can't understand what they're saying, but you can definitely hear the laugh. And it's just really cool. And it's actually a house the big pink house that we did we got some great, Jess and I got
Thanks,
a really
Willie.
good EVP in.
Yeah, Willie said, "Can never take your place, Mark."
He probably doesn't want to.
My wife said they showed themselves right after we moved in, and now I hear random noises. Yeah, I've seen a shadow person up here too.
Nice.
Oh, those are so creepy.
Well, aside from Pam, you guys know where I record at, and I've got the desk turned away from where it was, and I'm facing the door while it's open. And the other night, well, it's been, I don't know, a month or so ago, I saw a shadow person cross the door.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but my wife says the TV comes on in our bedroom every so often at night. You know, so
Wow.
I don't get a negative feeling coming into your
No,
house.
I don't
though.
either.
I don't think they're anything to worry about.
yeah, I don't worry too much about it. I mean, I grew up in a haunted house, so it's kind of like I'm comfortable. It's comfortable, you know, if that makes sense.
Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just a member of the family. You don't know their name.
Right. Yeah. Nothing bad's happened, you know. Might get a
I'm
little
way
spooked,
more
but-
scared of real people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Real people are frightening.
Mm-hmm.
I see a person shape out of the corner of my eye sometimes. My wife said it's probably that shadow person.
And that's usually where you see shadow people.
Yep.
The one time I saw a full apparition, I was with these girls, and I looked right up. I could see it out of the corner of my eye. I said, "You guys see this fellow that's standing right next to me?" No. I said, "Well, he's leaning right there. I can see him plain as day." Then when I turned, he was gone.
Yeah.
So,
Do you remember when Mike saw his first one ever?
That was
We were out at the
I thought he was
cemetery.
going to lose his crap.
that was epic.
So I'll just tell the story real quick because I'm sure Phil's never heard this. So we were out at this cemetery that we frequent often. It's a hotbed for stuff. It was one of the first times we'd been out there, though. It wasn't the very first time. But he actually went off on his own to relieve himself, I'll say, in my most polite way. And we heard him from across the cemetery come running back towards us going, "Holy fuck, did you guys see that?" And we were like, and it, you know, when you ghost
We were
hunt,
trying
you're
not to
quiet
look.
because you're quiet because you want to make sure you hear everything. So it had been just very quiet. All you can hear is like the bugs and the occasional cow. And here he comes screaming out of the darkness, "Holy fuck, did you guys see that?" And we were like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "There was a shadow man. He was like 10 feet tall and he was right in front of me. Oh my God." He was so excited.
He's like, I finally saw one.
Yeah, like anybody else would have been like, "Man, I'm out of here. This is too freaking scary for me." But we're all like, "Yeah!"
I'm so happy.
We laughed so hard at him. But he was on cloud 9 for the rest of the night because he'd
Oh, I bet.
finally seen a shadow man. So
It was pretty
I
cool.
bet.
Well, I mean,
Willie said he's trying to console
was pretty
a
exciting.
friend you're also laughing at is the best conundrum of all.
I don't know how many times I've done something and people are looking at me like, well, do we laugh or call 911?
Make sure he's okay first.
There are way too many stories about me that fit that bill. So
Yes. Sure of you.
she's our fall down queen.
I am. I am.
We have a saying in our group that if there ever is something that we need to get away from in a hurry, we just kick her bad leg out from underneath of her and we'll be fine.
We can walk
You don't
away.
have to run fast. Just run faster than
No,
him.
we can just walk away. It'll be fine.
Well, now you have to tell him. I have a prosthetic leg, and it has a tendency to come loose a couple of times.
At the
It
most
does
inopportune
not. Don't you fib. It does not come loose on its own.
Oh. Well, I didn't do it.
I
on
don't know
purpose.
how many times we'll warn her. We're like going up a set of steps and we turn around like, Pam, there's a step that's loose right here and it sticks out too far. Watch your foot. And she's like, I know. And then pop. And Mark is usually off in the background doing this.
Oh yeah, he's trying to catch me from 3 car lengths away.
Yes.
No.
While I'm explaining to whoever's house we're at to help them.
This
We're
happens
so
all the time.
sorry. She has a prosthetic leg and she's fine. She'll be fine. She'll get it back on and she'll be fine. No, we're not going to sue.
It's
Yes,
just
that's
there.
our Pam. We love our Pam.
I swear I'm going to buy that
Thank you,
bus
leg
with
and
the
all.
wheelchair lift on it so we can go to places and, use Ecto
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, we
Yes.
called. I was stuck in a chair for a while. We just called it Ecto 1, but I had a hoodie on, and Mark could hang all his equipment in my hoodie, so it worked out great.
It was great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's some of the easiest ghost hunting I've ever done. And again, if something would chase us, all I have to do is leave the wheelchair.
Oh, you just pushed me. Pooh. Bye, man. Oh, boy.
Oh,
I
Well,
don't
you
think
know,
I
it's
have
been-
anything else to add to this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
good
fun,
now.
really.
We got
That's
kind of got
all
the
right.
weeds on this one. I don't know.
That's all right. No big deal. That makes it fun.
Rabbit holes are us. We need a shirt
Yeah.
that says that.
That's all right. Now it was a fun show. I mean, it wasn't as creepy as I kind of thought it was going to be, but that's okay.
No, it was plenty creepy.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you bring up black-eyed kids, it does get creepy.
I got the chills several times. I usually don't.
Yeah, but ladies, thank you again. I mean, it's always a lot of fun when you guys come on and a lot of
We enjoy it.
information.
Anytime.
Yeah, we love it.
You know, like I said, you guys are like our part-time co-hosts now, so
Yay!
it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it every time you guys come on. Yeah, definitely, people. I mean, folks, if you're in the area, or if you're not in the area and you're close, or you want to make plans, come out and check out this Paracon. It's a lot of fun, a lot of information, a lot of good people. You know, just normal, everyday people, and that's what makes it all worth it. You know, Willie threw his tagline in here. You know, stay curious and keep it weird. Absolutely, man. That's what we're trying to do. But I don't want to say that because that's your tagline. So
Come to the
but
Paracon,
folks-
make fun of me. It's cool.
That's a
But
long
yeah.
tagline.
it is. I want to say it's kind of something I've said here a lot recently, and you know, we're all in this together. Doesn't matter what. And I don't know who this is. You know, somebody said it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. It absolutely is. Willie said, "Use it." But yeah, here lately with everything that's going on, I've been saying a lot. You know, we're in this together, and I think it's the same thing. It stands true for the paranormal too. I mean, the people that are really looking into it, and I mean, we're all in this together. Oh, it's my mom. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, I got your mom. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of interesting topics, and
And we lost Phil. The
Uh-oh.
internet has struck again.
It did so good.
I know. We made it almost to the end.
Darn it.
Actually, past the end because we usually don't go this long. But
Oh,
he should be
Yeah.
back on in a
There
moment.
he is.
yep, I'm back.
There he is.
Yay.
yay!
Yeah, I was
You thought the
Internet
black eyed
couldn't
kids
just
had taken
rolling
you.
out. Yeah, I know it.
Right?
But no, I mean, we're all in this together. Really, I mean, sums everything up. And folks, again, check out our website. Go support Bordertown Paracon. Look up their Facebook. Do you guys have a website yet?
We do. It's
I don't know if you pitched that or not. Bordertown
Bordertown
Paracon.
Paranormal.
Okay, Bordertown Paranormal.
Yeah.
.com?
BordertownParanormal.com.
Okay, great. Yeah, you guys go check them out. Give them some support. They're doing big things, especially if you want to donate. Feel free to donate to them. So I mean, 'cause,
Yes. We have no problem with that.
it's a great cause, and it's a fun thing. I mean, like I said, I had a ball last year. It was a lot of fun, really interesting. And
Everybody was so much.
It was a
so
good time.
great to be around.
yeah. There's nobody there that's rude. I mean, it's just a good time, and I'd love to see everybody out there. With that being said, folks, thanks again for listening. Pam, Jess, thank you for coming back on with us.
Anytime.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
We will catch you next episode.